What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Cannonballs podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Dane Cannon, co-host, and with me today is...
Woo! We're back, baby. It's been 2 weeks, but we're back. I mean, it really hasn't been 2 weeks for you guys, but it's been 2 weeks for us, so we're back. Yeah, your boy, Jake Mother Effin' Bulls on the mic, 1-2.
Yeah, within those 2 weeks that we actually didn't record, but you guys did get an episode this most recent week. Jake and I actually got to see each other in Vegas, which was a night to remember. Bits and pieces of
baby.
High rollers only, baby. Yeah, I flew out to, well, didn't fly. I drove out to Vegas with my fiance and her sister and her mother. We went out there. It was a great time. I got to see Jake. Jake and I gambled a little bit, lost a lot of money, got really tipsy, had a good time. And
Too much money.
It was one of the most fun nights I've had in a long time. Let's just say that.
Yeah, it was a great night. It's always awesome seeing you, Dane. Obviously, we got to do it more often before time passes us by. But no, it was great seeing you. But yeah, I mean, let's get into the episode.
Let's get into it. So today, guys, we're going to be covering the AFC East. We're going to be going, grading each division player by player in the 2023 NFL Draft. We're going to be covering the AFC East. If you guys haven't already, we've already done the North divisions, AFC and NFC, so go ahead and check those out. Before we get into the actual draft coverage, we have a little bit of news that we're going to talk about. It's very minimal. There hasn't been much. We're kind of in the dead period before football training camp starts, OTAs, all that good stuff. So, guys, if you aren't already, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on our Instagram at cannonballs_podcast. Jake, do you have anything to add before we get going?
No, I'm ready to get into the news. So really only one pretty decently big free agent signing happened. The Cleveland Browns acquired Zadarius Smith from the Minnesota Vikings.
Zadarius Smith. He's a snack.
So the Browns received Zadarius Smith, a 2025 6th and 7th round pick, in exchange for a 2024 5th round pick and a 2025 5th round pick. So I personally like the trade. I think the Browns kind of need somebody else on the other side of Myles Garrett. Granted, Zadarius Smith is older, but I still think he's got it. I think he can definitely get you at least 6 sacks in the season, definitely relieve some of the pressure for Myles Garrett. And honestly, it could probably help him out having a dude like Myles Garrett on the other side. They really didn't give up a whole lot. I mean, they got picks along with Zadarius Smith. So, and I believe they're one of the most cap friendly teams in the NFL. So it's really a win-win for the Cleveland Browns and a win for I don't know. For the Vikings, I kind of wish they would have kept him maybe, just because they don't really have that much of a defensive presence. So I don't know, but I could see where they're coming from, trying to get rid of that contract or whatever. So I like it more for the Browns, but what do you think?
I do too. I like it more for the Browns just because the fact that you're going to be pairing him up with Myles Garrett. And Myles Garrett, he's been double teamed left and right since his rookie season, basically, because he has such a presence on the defensive line. So having Zadarius Smith might take some of the pressure off of him, kind of game plan around two really good edge rushers. So, I like it. I like the trade. I think that the Browns needed that. I think it'll help their defensive front, who kind of got gashed last year in the run game, surprisingly. So I think that it could help in the pass and the run defense.
Yeah, I think I personally think the Browns are going to be a lot better than people think.
I do too. I think having a full offseason for Deshaun Watson to actually get practice and not deal with all these legal repercussions that he had to deal with last year, he's going to look a lot better. He's going to look better. The offense is going to look better. Plus, it was a new system for him to learn from jail, basically. Not from jail, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and plus he had all that guilt on his soul, so he's probably felt, but he's over it now. But no, he's still a great quarterback, or at least he was in Houston. And I think people are forgetting how good he was. So I think Browns might be a little sneaky good team this year. But other than that, the biggest news last week, Thursday, I forget what the date was. The 15th. No, couldn't have been the 15th. Maybe the 12th. No, it was the 11th, I think. I don't know. Last week, the 11th of May. They released the NFL schedule. So pretty exciting, you know. You get to see who your team matches up. You get to see the strength of schedule. Any takeaways?
Here, how about this? What are your initial thoughts of your team's, schedule release? Or do you have any games like marked on your calendar where you're like, this is a great game?
Oh, there's plenty of great games for 49ers. Man, am I looking at the wrong thing right now? I don't think I am. Okay. No, there's definitely some games that I have marked down on the calendar. Seattle always is going to be a battle. That we play the AFC AFC North, which we covered last week. AFC North is going to be tough. Like I just said, the Browns, the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Ravens. So those are going to be tough matchups. But the biggest one I have on the calendar is the matchup with the Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to be fun. I think we're going to get a taste of a potential rematch of the last year's NFC Championship and possibly this year's NFC Championship. I still think they're the two best teams in the NFC until proven otherwise or injuries happen, knock on wood. But I definitely have the Eagles circled on my calendar. What about your team? Chargers.
So for the Chargers, I actually have game 1 scheduled because it's a rematch again of Tua, Justin Herbert. Last time the Chargers defense kind of handled Tua and that explosive offense, but now they added another speedy threat. Devon Achane. They have multiple 4.2 40-yard dash players. They have 3. So it's just ridiculous. It's an elite speed team, but it's also the Chargers are going to be fully healthy. So I have it scheduled or like circled on my calendar because it's like, let's see what this team's supposed to look like, with a healthy Mike Williams, a healthy Keenan Allen. Hopefully they're healthy at this point in time. It's game 1. It's week 1. So hopefully Rashawn Slater's out there, Joey Bosa healthy. So it's kind of like all these players that we were missing throughout the season last year. I want to see what this team actually looks like. And I'm excited to see what Kellen Moore's offense looks like. Maybe Justin Herbert's slinging the ball downfield further. Maybe this offense is a little bit more exciting. Last year, it was just stale. And I think that, a lot of it's on Joe Lombardi, but I think that Justin Herbert needs to take the helm a little bit and just be like, fuck that play. I want to run this play and then do it. Because Phillip Rivers, I was so used to Phillip Rivers calling audibles and changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Every freaking play is like, nah, I'm running my offense. So, it is what it is, but I'm excited to see that. And it's another rematch, from the 2020 draft class between quarterbacks. So should be a good one.
Real quick before we move on, what do you think of the Lions getting the first game of the season against the Chiefs?
I love it.
I mean, I do too, but is the NFL maybe just a little bit hyping the Lions up more than they need to be? I think they've greatly improved. I know we're all excited for Detroit, especially Detroit fans, but should we pump the brakes a little bit, giving them the first matchup of the season against the reigning Super Bowl champs?
Fuck no.
You think they're going to be that good?
Yes. I say pedal to the metal. Let's see what they got. You remember the last time Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff had a showdown? It's like one of the highest scoring offensive games in the entire history of the NFL, if not the highest. And I'm not saying that it's going to be an exact replication of that, but I'm saying that there is the potential because they're both high-powered offenses. Mm-hmm. The Detroit Lions defense, I don't know how it's going to look this year. I don't think it's going to be too terribly much better. It could be a little bit better. But I'm excited because I think it's going to be high scoring on both teams. I think they both can score a lot of points. So I'm excited. And like we said, I have Detroit winning the division this year.
Yeah.
So if I have them winning the division, I think that this offense can go blow to blow with the Kansas City Chiefs, because the Chiefs aren't known for having like an elite defense, but they make big plays when they need to.
Especially in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, exactly. And week one, anything can happen between any team. So I think it would be a fun showdown. I hope it's a lot better than the Bills-Rams game this last year, because that was a blowout.
Yeah, that was garbage. Should have been foreshadowing of what the Rams were going to be last year. But, if you guys haven't, go look at your team's schedule. Go look at the primetime games. It's always fun. It's always fun to get excited. I mean, we don't really have much to get excited for in the off season. And if you're
just
a football fanatic,
snippets, if you're trying to chew at the bit, just trying to keep myself sane enough by watching like 3-second highlight videos of rookie mini camps.
Yeah. So if you guys are like, as much of addicts for football as me and Dane, then go out, look at the primetime schedules, look at how many primetime games each team got. It's fun, it's exciting. But other than that, let's get into the AFC East.
Let's do it.
Draft.
And guys, if you don't know, the way Jake and I do it is we go in alphabetical order. That way it's, just everything's fair. We're not picking one team over the other because of preference or anything like that. So we'll start off with, I believe, the Buffalo Bills, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So round one, Buffalo Bills 2023 NFL draft. They got my guy, my favorite tight end in the draft, Utah, Dalton Kincaid. I love this pick, honestly. I am a little surprised that the Bills are the team to draft him, especially because they just signed Dawson Knox to a deal not too long ago. So I think that it's kind of interesting. I don't know if they're going to transition Dawson Knox to more pass protection sets or blocking sets, because Dalton Kincaid's that's not his specialty. His specialty is being Travis Kelce-esque in the receiving game and, his route running, his hands. I think he had one drop in his entire NFL or collegiate career. Jesus Christ, I can't talk right now. But, he's great after the catch. He's got great hands. He's got a great route running tree. I love it. I just didn't think this is going to be the team to draft him. Plus, they moved up, didn't they? Didn't they move up to draft him?
I forget, man. It feels like forever ago since the draft. Let me see if I can find that out real quick.
Sorry, I'm not positive, but I could have swore that they draft, because I don't think that they were picking 25 overall. I could be wrong, but I could have swore they drafted up to.
Yes.
They did draft up?
So
or trade up?
The Giants traded with the Jags and the Bills traded with the Jags. So they did trade up. But they only traded up 2 spots. But
it shows that they really wanted him.
Well, yeah, but I think because I think the Cowboys were going to draft him if he was there, to be honest, because they were there next. So I mean, I feel like he almost slid to them, and they just moved up like one spot. I love the pick. I think, this is just makes the Chiefs, Bengals, Bills kind of like 3-way rivalry that they got going on just way more exciting.
It just makes these offenses even more dangerous. I mean, this Buffalo Bills offense, giving Josh Allen this receiving threat is incredible. Mixing him with Stephon Diggs, I think, is great. Gabriel Davis. You have a deep threat. You have a great route runner. And then you have a yak monster. So, I mean, this is going to be a terrifying passing offense, in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah, so I really do love the pick. Their next pick, they drafted, I think he was one of your top offensive linemen, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he was my top guard. I can't remember if he was first or second.
Okay.
But yeah, I did like Osiris Torrance.
Okay, sorry. So the PFF graded Dalton Kincaid as an elite grade.
Yeah.
He was their number 1 tight end. Excuse me. But their next draft, Osiris Torrance. And like I said, it was one of Dane's top prospects. I believe he's really up there for a lot of people. He was the top guard for PFF. I like the pick.
He's a good guard.
Yeah. I like the pick a lot. they have so much invested into
He was
Josh
my top
Allen.
interior offensive line. Just saying. Just
Awesome.
wanted to look it up.
Awesome. So they have so much invested in Josh Allen, and you know, why not just protect him? And they go out and get a guard, and I don't know. I don't understand why some people like think that guards aren't as important as tackles. I mean, let's be okay. So a rush on the outside is scary, but when you have someone like Aaron Donald that can rush up the middle, it's equally as scary. Or the dude from the Chiefs, his name, Chris Jones.
Chris Jones, yeah.
When you can get a pass rush up the middle, it's scary because it's like right in your face.
Not only that, guards have to deal with blitzing, crossing routes between the defensive linemen. You have more mix and match. Tackles, it's kind of like you're left on an island. Go out there and handle your man. Guards, you're having to deal with blitzes, picking up, crossing routes between the defensive linemen, who's coming from where. There's a lot more going on, I think, at a faster pace for guards.
Yes. Sorry. And they got him at pick 59 to get like the number one guard in the draft. I think that's kind of a steal. So, back to back really good picks. PFF also has it as an elite pick.
Yeah, I like this. I like this pick a lot. The only thing that I will say is it's going to be a huge transition going from Florida weather to Buffalo weather. He's going to have to get used to the cold. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I'm sure he'll get used to it. All players do somewhat.
One thing I will say about Osiris Torrance, just watching over his tape a little bit, I would like him to be more violent. When you're in the trenches like that, you got to be a mean fucking dude. I'm sorry, pardon my French, but you got to be mean, especially when you're going up against people like Aaron Donald. What was the dude from? I keep forgetting his name. Chris Jones. Elite defensive tackle pass rushers. You got to be mean. You got to be able to knock them on their ass if you have to, and you got to, sometimes play after the whistle. I would just want him to be a little bit more violent, but other than that, I really do like the pick. This next pick I actually really like.
Dude,
I don't know if,
I like this pick a lot actually.
So I'll let you kick it off, but I do like this pick.
Yeah, so in the third round, the Buffalo Bills select Dorian Williams, linebacker out of Tulane. And I can't remember if he made my top 5, but I think he was borderline for me. Actually, let me look it up. But after watching his tape, I think that he could have made my top 5, honestly, if I didn't already have him, because his plays... I feel like he's one of the more instinctive linebackers in this year's draft, and he's a very downhill kind of player. He wraps up well. He's a big hitter. This is your violent guy.
Yeah.
And he's going to add some, tenacity on this defense, and he's just going to be rough tugged, and I like it. I think that Buffalo kind of needs that on their defensive side of the ball. They have a good defense, but last year kind of felt a little lackluster at times. It didn't seem like they had too much of an identity at certain points. I know they were dealing with injuries. A lot of teams were dealing with injuries last year, but I think that he can come in, fight for a starting role, and, offer some good production if he's able to win a starting role battle. If not, he's going to be a great special team player. And, I like the pick overall. Yeah,
this guy is instinctual and downhill is perfect way to describe him. He just read. I mean, granted, he did play at Tulane, and where the competition is a little bit weaker, but he's still a pretty big dude. I mean, he's 6'2", 230.
He ran a 4.40 as well.
Yeah,
so he's got good speed.
Yeah, so I like him, and I think he's going to be in the rotation for that defense. He probably won't start right away, but I look out for this guy because he looks pretty nice. This next dude, the Bills just get better because honestly, I love the Bills. I love their draft. Justin Shorter. Immediately watching this guy's tape. He's from LSU. Sorry, real quick, I keep forgetting, but PFF ranked the Dorian Williams draft as good. But Justin Shorter, wide receiver out of LSU. And I mean, I really didn't know about this guy. You know, you kind of hear about the other guys at LSU, but
I think he was at
immediately,
Florida, wasn't he? Or am I tripping?
oh,
I think he went to Florida, right?
my fault. Yes, he was at Florida. My fault.
Okay,
My fault. My
okay,
fault.
okay. I
Yes,
just wanted to make
yes,
sure.
I was reading that wrong. No, but if I'm not mistaken, this guy, right when I saw him, he reminded me of. Sorry about that, Jesus. Um, he reminded me of Juwan Jennings from the 49ers, a third down wide receiver, a move the chains wide receiver. He didn't look too terribly fast. I don't think he's slow, but he didn't look like, you know, I don't know, Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill or one of those crazy fast wide receivers to me. But he just looked like a possession wide receiver. And I mean, that's maybe what the Bills need. I mean, listen to their depth chart right now. They got Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Khalil Shakir, and Trent Sherfield. Those are all like ridiculously fast wide receivers. Maybe they just need that kind of change of pace wide receiver. And to me, he looked pretty decent. I don't know what your impressions are on him, but
so I like Justin Shorter. You know, he's 6'4", 230 pounds. So he ran a 4.55, so not like blazing speed, but for that size, that's pretty quick. That's pretty quick for his size. The only thing that I'm a little concerned with is his vertical jump. It wasn't as high as I expected him to jump, but I mean, if you're already 6'4", you don't have to jump a 40-inch vertical. It would be nice if you did, but you know, for contested catches, I think that, like you said, this could be your transition away from speed. You know, he could be your contested catcher. You could move the chains. He's a big body. He should be an easy target to hit. He's got pretty decent hands. So I like the pick overall. You know, we're getting down into the 5th round. So like for this spot in the 5th round, I like the pick. I think it's good value. So
also think about this. When your number one cornerback is on Stephon Diggs, your number 2 is on, you know, Gabe Davis. Your number 3 defender is on, you know, Down Kincaid. You know, and then you got this guy just getting open. So, and I think that's dangerous. I think I like it a lot. Let's see. Next pick. This actually might be my favorite pick of the Bills. I know that's weird to say, but
Nick Broker.
Yeah, watching this guy. Yeah, I like him, man. I don't know if you watched a lot of tape on him, but I like him. He's violent in the trenches. He puts people on their ass. I think he can compete for, you know, a starting position. He looked good to me. Let me know what you think.
So I think for, you know, where they got him, it's pretty good positional value. I do like his hand usage. I do think that he could have a little bit more play strength, but I think that the physicality or the mentality that he plays with, you know, he can pancake people. And like you said, he can be violent, but you'll notice on certain pass sets, he kind of gets pushed back sometimes if it's a bull rush. So, you know, maybe his anchor is a little bit iffy here and there, but I think that, you know, utilizing him in the run game will definitely help this team. I think that he could earn a starting role later down the road. I think that he's a good depth. So I like the pick overall. Yeah, I think it's a good, solid pick.
Yeah, and like I said, they're just trying to protect their investment in Josh Allen. I got nothing wrong with that. You know, maybe he won't pan out, but if at least they're trying to find someone to, you know, replace their lineman or get better on the offensive line. Because I believe Josh Allen missed a couple games last year, or he was hurt. He was dealing with injuries.
He was dealing with injuries. You should know you had him on fantasy.
Yeah. The way he plays is also very prone to getting injured.
He is a wild man. He plays with no regard to his health.
Yes. And then this last pick, you know, cornerbacks are kind of hard to watch tape on. For me, at least, they all kind of look the same. Alex Austin out of Oregon State, with the number 252 pick, he looked decent on tape. He looked physical, looked like he get the ball. I don't know what else to say about a cornerback. Probably just going to end up being a special teamer, maybe a depth rotational piece, but I thought it was he looked decent to me, but I don't know if you got anything else to say about him.
Yeah, Alex Austin isn't the most athletic cornerback out there. He's got decent size though, so he's got the prototypical size, but you kind of wish the athleticism was a little bit more what you want in the NFL. But I think that he could develop some key characteristics on the defensive side of the ball that people could find, helpful. I think that he could be utilized. He's definitely going to be a special team player, so we'll see. Oregon State did have a solid defense. I think that he did play pretty decent, but getting him in the 7th round, I think is right around where he should have gone.
Right on. So sorry guys, but the Justin Shorter pick, PFF graded an average, Nick Broker above average, Alex Austin average.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Alex Austin.
Yeah. Another thing about Nick Broker, they have him listed as guard on NFL.com, but he played a bunch of snaps at tackle as well, so he's pretty versatile. To me, he looked more like a tackle. Taller.
I think he's 6'4", isn't he? He's almost 6'5", so he's got the height.
Yeah, so to me, he looked more like a tackle, but I guess he could play guard or tackle. We'll see where they put him.
I think the reason he's probably going to play guard is because of his length or his arm length. So it's under 33-inch arms for his size. So it's probably, that's where they usually transition, is if you don't have the longer extension. A lot of players, unless you're like Rashawn Slater, we'll see Skoronski where they send him. I think he'll be a guard initially, but if a tackle goes down, he could easily be moved. So maybe it's the same with Nick Broker.
So after going over the draft for the Buffalo Bills, what would you grade their draft at?
I'm going between an A- and a B+. I really love Dalton Kincaid. I really like Osiris Torrance. I really like Dorian Williams. Justin Shorter, Nick Broker, and Alex Austin, I'm high on, but not like in love with. Like, I think they're all solid picks, but I'm not like, oh my God, they got to steal later in the draft. I think I'm going to give them a B+. I really like their draft. I think that they hit on a couple key players. Maybe it's also because they didn't have as many picks this year. I think they had 7? 6 picks.
Picks.
So they didn't have as many draft picks this year, but I really like the players they got. I would probably keep it at an A- if they didn't just pay Dawson Knox and they really needed a tight end, but because I'm really excited to see what they can do in this offense with him. But what is the snap percentage going to be like for Dalton Kincaid? Like, what's the rotation going to be like? I don't know. It's kind of like a TBD to see how they're going to utilize Dalton Kincaid out there.
Yeah, I love the Dalton Kincaid. We know what having 2 elite tight ends. I'm not saying Dawson Knox isn't elite. I think he has characteristics to be elite, to be a top 10 tight end. I think he's kind of he might be on the cusp of being a top 10 tight end. Let me see real quick. I have the ranking for him real quick. Sorry. Okay, so he's the 23rd of 73 tight end. So not bad, and he has moments of disappearing on that team, but that's because they have so many weapons. But what I was trying to say is, when you have 2 good tight ends, it's like a cheat code. It's such a
really
mismatch,
is, especially in the red zone.
Yeah. So and Dawson Knox can catch. Like, he's a pretty decent pass catcher. So I like the trade. I think they're just trying to, go above and beyond and try to be better than the Chiefs. And, today's NFL is not really a defensive game. You got to have offensive firepower to compete. And I think that's what they're trying to do. So I really like the pick. I like the other picks too. I think they found, me personally, I love the Justin Shorter and the Nick Broker picks. I'm not going to say in love, but I think they have potential to be, really good. So for me, I'm giving them an A-.
Okay, cool.
And you gave them a B+?
B+.
All right. Just so you guys know, NFL.com gave the Bills an A, and PFF gave the Bills an A as well. All right. Next team on the list, we have I believe it's the Miami Dolphins. I don't know. I don't know words. What's the next, Dan? Oh,
I
yep.
think
It
it
is
is.
the
I think
Miami
it is the
Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins. Yeah.
The first pick list Miami Dolphins because they lost their first round pick.
Yeah, this one will be fast.
Yes. Actually, it was pretty awesome because 3 of the 4 teams only had like a small amount of picks, unlike the stupid Patriots who had like
Or
14 freaking picks.
the Steelers.
Or, well, no, the Patriots also had like a lot of picks. But
Yeah, we're gonna get into them, but the episode that we covered, I'm pretty. Oh, it was the Packers, dude. Oh my god, that was a nightmare. It was.
Just so you guys know, watching highlights and tapes on all those players took forever. I'm going to take my sweatshirt off, so just pardon me. Dane, I'll let you take it away.
All right, so starting off with Miami's first pick, they started off in round 2 because they lost their first round pick due to cheating. Never a good thing. Anyway, so round 2, they went ahead and got South Carolina cornerback Cam Smith, number 51 overall. I like Cam Smith a lot. I think he's very athletic. He ran a 4.4, 38-inch vertical, 11.2 broad jump. So, he's got the explosiveness that you need. He's got good size. He's 6'1". Maybe could add a little bit more mass to his frame. He's about 180 pounds. Arms are a little bit shorter, but, I think the production at South Carolina was there. He is a great corner. I think he was in conversation for possibly making it into the first round for some people, but I think he went around where a lot of people had him in the second round. So I think overall he's going to, thrive in Vic Fangio's defense. So I think that this is a great pick. So he's going into a good defensive scheme. I think he'll just only continue to improve. So I like the pick overall for Miami.
I like the pick for depth because cornerback depth is huge. Also, he gets to learn behind 2 of the best cornerbacks in the league. If he can't take something away, he needs to just retire because those dudes are literally like top 5 in the NFL. And just so you guys know, he was PFF's 6th rank cornerback. So, right on the cusp of being a top first rounder. They projected him being a second rounder, which, he ended up being. So I do like the pick. They kind of lost a little bit with their defense, but I think look for them to get back with that pick. This next pick, I love. I said it when we were going over our top 5 picks. This dude needs to go to the 49ers or the Dolphins, something with a zone run defense, zone run offense. And what do you know? He went to the best team. Second best team with the zone run. And he's going to Mike McDaniel, who's just a run. He's a run genius, I think. Okay, I'm not gonna say genius, but he's really good. And he went to the best situation, honestly. One, Raheem Mostert is. I love the dude, but he is very injury prone. If he could stay healthy, he would. There's nobody could touch him. But give him a run, he might break 70-yard touchdown, and then let him rest. And then give it to Devon Achane, and then you can got Jeff Wilson, who's not a chump. So they have 3 very fast running backs. I love this pick for the Dolphins. Still takes pressure off Tua, and I love this pick a lot. I think it's the perfect fit, to be honest. And yeah, I don't know. What else do you have to say about it?
I really like this pick. I mean, I kind of talked about it when I was breaking down the schedule release for the Chargers and kind of what game that I have circled on my calendar. They're just adding another 4.2 something speed to this team. I mean, running a 40-yard dash in 4.2 something seconds is ridiculous. And now they have 3. This is honestly the fastest team in the NFL. Yep. Most teams only have
4.3. Jesus Christ.
I thought it was a 4.2. It was in the 4.3s.
On NFL, it says 4.3. On PFF, it says 4.32. So
Okay,
yeah.
either way, he's borderline 4.2, but for a running back, that is elite speed. And, he's shifty. He has great cut ability. You can utilize him in the passing game. So he's going to have a lot of fun in Mike McDaniel's offense here. So I like the pick overall. I think that this is just going to make this offense even more scary. So it's going to be it's going to be a tough offensive scheme to game plan against.
You got home run hitters everywhere on the field. So yeah, I love it. Sorry, real quick, I keep forgetting, but Devon A-Chain was the 4th ranked running back, and PFF graded them Cam Smith average and Devon A-Chain as good picks. Let's get to our next one. We got Stanford tight end Elijah Higgins, number 197, and I'm going to be perfectly honest. I think this dude looks exactly like Mike Gesicki, who they just got rid of.
Is he a tight end or is he a wide receiver?
He's listed as a tight end, but he looks like a wide receiver.
Yeah, honestly. I thought he was a wide receiver, huh?
I don't think this dude offers much in the blocking game, but that's fine because Mike Gesicki really didn't have that much of a blocking skill, if I remember correctly. The PFF has him as the 32 ranked tight end, so maybe went under the radar a little bit. But just like the Bills, when you have Waddle and Tyreek Hill and those god awful fast running backs coming out of the background, sometimes the defense forgets about the forgotten man, such as the second string tight end or the freaking fullback. I don't even know if they have a fullback in Miami, but I from watching his tape, I think Mike McDaniel can use this guy perfectly. And some people might not see a lot in this guy. I see the potential on this Miami Dolphins team, and so for me, it makes me like the pick. But yeah, I like it because right now they got, Durhan Smythe. He hasn't really proved a whole lot. Mike Gesicki's kind of been the tight end there for a while, so we'll see what this guy can do.
Yeah, I think it's a solid pick. I'm not in love with it. I think that it's good. He's decently athletic. He ran in the 4.5s, 35-inch vertical. Almost, or I think he ran or jumped like a 10.6 broad, some 10.7 maybe around there. So he's decently athletic. I could have swore he was okay. I thought he was more of a slot wide receiver. I could be mistaken. So if he is utilized as a tight end, these measurables look a lot better, especially athletically speaking. But as a wide receiver, it's kind of but he's 6'3", I think 6'3", maybe 6'4". He's got good size. He's got good weight. So I think that it offers, a good, alternative to speed. I think that they can utilize him. I don't know how much he's going to see the field on this offensive scheme his rookie year, but we could see maybe he will if there is an injury. So I like the pick, not in love with it.
Very interesting. So on PFF, he's listed as a wide receiver. And on NFL, he's listed as a tight end.
Yeah, I could have swore he was a wide receiver.
Huh. Well, PFF graded it as a below average grade. Last pick, because they only had 4, thank God. Ryan Hayes out of Michigan. I like this pick a lot.
I like this pick more, for sure.
For one of the last picks in the NFL draft, I think this could possibly be a steal for the Miami Dolphins. And let's not forget, Tua was hurt like 3 or 4 times last year with 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8 different concussions. They got to protect the dude. And I don't know if what they're doing on the offensive line is working. So you know what? Bring in competition. I like it. This dude looked pretty decent on tape. Looks like a big dude. I know at the Senior Bowl, they kind of had him playing all positions, so maybe he's versatile. But I like the pick as far as depth. I like the pick, potential. Yeah. What do you think of the pick?
Yeah, I think this is good depth here. He's
Jesus,
pretty.
sorry guys.
He is
That keeps
pretty.
happening to me.
He is pretty athletic, especially for his size. He's 6'6". A little bit undersized though. He's under 300 pounds. He's 298. Arms are a little bit shorter, so maybe not the best frame that you're looking for at a 6'6" size. But I think that he could transition into a decent rotational piece, maybe possibly a swing tackle. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm just looking at their offensive line, and pretty much all the starters besides the fourth, are kind of how the kids are saying mid. I mean, the center was the fourth out of 36 center. You got their starting guard, 49 of 77. Their other guard, 75th of 77. Their tackle, 72nd of 81. So, yeah, it looks like forgot about Teron Armstead. So, he's not going to usurp Teron, but yeah, so it looks like they could use some help on the offensive line.
They definitely need some depth, that's for sure.
Yeah. So PFF grades it as a
wait,
above
hold on.
average.
You're grading the player. I thought you were saying what PFF graded their draft.
No, so yeah, they graded the Ryan Hayes pick as above average. So overall, it's hard when you lose your first overall pick.
And you only have 4 picks in the draft.
Yeah. You kind of got 2. Well, the thing is, even with the Cam Smith pick, he's not going to go in there and usurp Jalen Ramsey or Xavier Howard unless, knock on wood, they get injured. Maybe he'll play some nickel. I don't know. But I don't think he helps them right now. I think Devon A-Chain helps them right now. So with that, I'm probably going to have to give this grade a B-. I liked some of the picks. I like some of the depth pieces. And then I like the potential for Elijah Higgins. But yeah, I might have to go C+, honestly.
That's where I was going to go. I was going to go C+. Not because they had like very few draft picks, but other than Devon A-Chain, I don't love any of the picks. I really like Cam Smith. I think that's a good pick, and I think that he can very easily develop into a great cornerback at the NFL level. But Devon A-Chain, like you said, is your like immediate impact player, and I think that he's going to offer a lot to this offense. So I'm going C+ as well.
In all honesty, though, I think the Dolphins, besides on defense, they're pretty stacked on offense. Yeah. On the defensive side of the ball, I think they helped with Cam Smith. He might be just throw him in the rotation. So, I don't know. They're in a hard division, though, so we'll see. All right, next team. Who do we have? Dane.
I believe we have the New England Patriots. We have the Jets. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, starting off, round 1, they got one of my guys. I honestly didn't think he was going to be picked in the first round, at least not this early. So maybe a slight reach, but they drafted Will McDonald from Iowa State. I personally was a lot higher on Will McDonald than a lot of people were. I saw the flashes. I mean, for me personally, this guy is an athletic freak. I really liked what I saw. He almost has 35-inch arms, 240 pounds, 6'4". He just looks physical on the defensive side of the ball, and he's got a high motor, will always be where the ball is. He just has that drive. And I think that if he can develop more pass rushing moves to his arsenal, I think that he could be top 3 edge rushers from this year's class. I really like what I saw. I think he has a lot of upside. So I'm higher on this pick than a lot of people. I just don't know if I would have picked him at pick 15. I think that there were some players that maybe I would have taken before him, but I liked the pick overall, and I was a lot higher on him than a lot of people. So I personally love Will McDonald, so I like the pick.
Would you have taken Nolan Smith
Yes.
over him? Okay. Yeah. So maybe it was a reach, like everyone's saying. I'm not a expert in analyzing these players. I just see what I see on TV or on highlight reels, and they look good. He looks good to me. He looks like he's explosive. He looks like he's long. He did play at Iowa State, so a little bit lesser competition. Obviously, the SEC is the top of the top, but you always find diamonds in the rough in these smaller divisions. I think he's going to a good situation with a good defense, with a cornerback room, which will give him plenty of time to rush the passer. So, and he's got a pretty decent defensive line and a good defensive minded head coach. So, maybe it was a reach a little bit or whatever, but if that's what they wanted, a pass rusher, and that was their dude, then who's to say it was a reach?
Yeah. So, I mean, I will say he has one of the nastiest spin moves, and he is very athletic. I mean, this dude is 6'4", 240, and he broad jumped 11 feet. Like, that's impressive. And like I said, he's got one of the highest motors. He plays with physicality. I personally was higher up. I freaking love Will McDonald. I will say I love this pick, especially for the Jets. I just wish that it wasn't pick 15, but I'm not going to let that deter me too much from my grade because I overall like the player a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really have any. I mean, they have some pretty decent edge rushers. Yeah, they're just trying to build that kind of lesser known though. I've never even heard of half of them. But all right, so Will McDonald with the 15th overall. This next pick I love, especially if they want to keep Aaron Rodgers around.
Yep.
Wisconsin center Joe Tippmann with the number 43 pick. Dude, okay, first off, I don't think I've ever seen a center pull with, how do I say this? I haven't seen a center pull with how, like, it was just effortless for him. The way he pulled, like, and if you know what pulling is, right?
Baby.
Okay. So for those who aren't listening, pulling is when you, especially as a center, you have to hike and then you swing your arm behind you and you run behind the right or the left side of the offensive line and go out and run with your running back or your quarterback for a downfield blocker or a bootleg or whatever. This guy does it perfectly. Like, it's honestly like beautiful to watch. And he's pretty good at not shedding blocks, like shedding blocks. If he has somebody in front of him, he'll double team him and then sees a blitzer and picks up blitzes pretty good. So I love this pick a lot. He looks very impressive on his tape. And again, if they want to keep their boy Aaron Rodgers around for longer than a year, you got to keep him healthy and happy. So I like the pick a lot.
I love this pick. I think Joe Tippmann, unfortunately, when I did my top 5 interior offensive linemen, I incorporated guard more so than I incorporated center. I think I had like 1 or 2 centers in my top 5, if that. But I think Joe Tippmann is borderline elite at the position coming from the collegiate level. I really like what I saw. You already mentioned like his pulling ability, shedding blocks, picking up blitzes. Like, he's a very intelligent center. And I think that's going to translate into the NFL, especially having Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. So I like the pick. I think he plays with good strength. He's one of the bigger centers at 6'6". You typically don't see centers at this height. So I don't know, man. Like, I think this is a great pick.
They're usually the shortest.
They're usually like 6'2". 6'2". So it'll be a interesting transition, but he plays with good strength, man. Like, he is a strong bodied man. Yeah. So I like it. And like you said, he pulls with ease. So I think the pick is beautiful. I love this pick.
Very athletic. PFF graded both the Will McDonald and Joe Tippmann grades as average, which I really have a hard time agreeing with the Joe Tippmann one. But what do we know? All right. In round 4 with the 120th pick, Jets selected Carter Warren out of Pittsburgh. I don't know. Again, I could say they all look decent on their highlights. It's really hard to judge. I think, more just a rotational depth piece. He was a captain on that team, which, that speaks something for, leadership and stuff. So maybe it's just a younger, I don't know how old the Jets offensive line is. So maybe, they're just thinking down the line, or, just having depth in case someone gets injured. So again, if you're protecting your quarterback who you just drafted or traded for, and you want to win multiple Super Bowls, I believe in protecting him. So I like the pick.
Yeah, I think he's good depth. Like he'll come in and he'll be good rotational depth value. But for me personally, I like the fact that he was a captain at Pitt. But watching his play, I feel like he lacks a lot of fluidity for me. I feel like he lunges a little bit too much and kind of doesn't stay on his block the way that he should. There will be some plays where he sets a good anchor and, he's able to lock down an edge rusher or a defensive end with somewhat ease, but there will be other plays. I think that it's just too inconsistent for me from what I've seen in like actual gameplay of his from Pitt. But, I think that he'll learn a lot in the NFL, and I think that he could be a good rotational piece. I just also want him to play with a little bit more physicality. I feel like he kind of plays patty cake sometimes. So that's just my take on him.
Yeah, PFF graded it as a average pick. Real quick, Will McDonald was the 6th ranked pass rusher according to PFF, and Joe Tippmann was the 2nd. And this man, Carter Warren, was the 15th ranked tackle. The Jets' next pick was
Israel
back-to-back Pittsburgh picks.
Abanikanda. Dude, I freaking love this pick. This might be my favorite pick of their draft.
I'm glad I'm not alone, because watching his tape, he looked really good. One cut and go. Boom, da, boom, da, boom, boom. I mean, his on what I saw, his offensive line was just giving him, semi-truck sized holes. But I like it. Breece Hall is coming off an injury. I'm not really sure who their depth is at running back. Let me look.
Do they still have Carter?
Do they? Okay, they do. Yes, they do. All right. Oh, and Zonovan Knight. So, they want to run the ball. Well, they did want to run the ball. They were really good at running the ball. Aaron Rodgers wants a run game. So, you want depth pieces. And, Breece Hall, for how good he was before he got hurt, he just got hurt. So, I like the pick. And Israel looks really good. I think he can definitely contribute to this team.
I do too. I think that he is one of the more overlooked running backs in this year's draft. I think he's got great size. He's 216, 5'10". So he's like the perfect build for a running back at the NFL level. He's just about 220, right around the 5'10", 5'11" mark, which is what you want to see. And like you said, his one cut directional burst is just really good. And he's not easy to bring down. He's got good change of pace. He's got a good stiff arm. He is pretty physical when he runs the ball. So I think that maybe not like a steal, but I really like getting him in the 5th round. I think he honestly could have gone in the 3rd or
4th. Yeah. So he was the 12th ranked running back, and PFF graded it as a good pick. And you might find this amusing. His pro comparison is Joshua Kelly. I don't know. I don't see that one, but
I mean, Joshua Kelly is pretty much like the same size, but I don't know. I don't know. Joshua Kelly hasn't really panned out into the NFL as of right now. We'll see what he can do with Kellen Moore, but yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, I'm going to be completely honest with these next 2 picks. I tried watching some tape on them, and I could not find it.
I couldn't either.
I didn't try too hard. I was already like an hour and a half, 2 hours in watching film. And I was I could have tried harder, but, I scrolled through a couple videos, couldn't find it. It was pretty much just saying the Jets drafted these players. So I think we're just gonna skip them if you're cool with
I
that,
am
Dane.
totally fine with that. I think good depth at this point in time. Where they're
Yeah.
drafting him in the 6th round, he's going to be a special team player at this point in time. So,
Yep. Yeah. So Zaire Barnes, Western Michigan linebacker at 184, and LSU cornerback Jarek Bernard Converse at 204. PFF graded them as both average. Also, real quick, Israel Abanaconda, that's one of the coolest
hell
names
yeah,
I've ever
baby.
heard.
Hell yeah, baby.
And okay, you said that was your favorite pick.
Okay.
This
I
is my
forgot
favorite
that they
pick.
got this guy. Dude, this is the most athletic tight end ever in combine history. The most athletic tight end ever. And he goes in the 7th round.
Oh, man. Keep your boy Aaron Rodgers happy. The Jets drafted Zach Kuntz out of Old Dominion with the 220 pick. Damn, bro. This guy, he's tall. I think he's 6'7",
255. This man had a 40-inch vertical at 255 pounds, 6'7", almost broad jumped 11 feet. And his 40 was in the 4.5s. Like, it's ridiculous. He is the most athletic tight end in combine history.
Yeah, he's gonna. Aaron Rodgers is gonna have some fun with him. Like, let's be honest. They already have Tyler Conklin, and if this is the second threat, dude. I'm excited to see what he can do on this with Aaron Rodgers. I think he might be a little bit. He might need to develop a little bit because from what I'm hearing, he's only started 1 year. He couldn't beat out he used to play at Penn State before he went to Old Dominion, I believe it was, and he couldn't beat them. Yeah, he played at Penn State. He couldn't start on the field, and then he had to go to a smaller school to start. So it is a smaller school, so there's always that caution, but his measurables are worth the shot, and I like it. Again, keep your boy Aaron Rodgers happy. He loves throwing the tight ends. I love the pick, and with the last pick of their draft, they get the 10th ranked. Well, actually, I've seen some when we were doing our tight end episode. I saw some where he was like the 6th, sometimes the 5th ranked tight end. So
yeah, I mean, I love Zach Kuntz. Obviously his combine speaks for itself as the most athletic tight end ever in combine history. I mean, he scored a fucking 94 on the athleticism score test, which is fucking insane. And for that size to have a 40-inch vertical, that's insane. 6'7", and you're jumping 40 inches. Aaron Rodgers could sail the ball and he could still catch it. The one thing that I will say about him is for how big he is, he needs to play a little bit more physical. He kind of plays down to the level of competition. He needs to develop more in the yak yards. But for a receiving threat who only started 1 year and had to go to Old Dominion, you want to see him dominate lower competition, which he did. Just develop the play strength, the yards after contact, and this guy's going to be golden. I mean, you have all the physical tools you could possibly need to work with.
He also doesn't offer much in the run blocking game, so one negative. But yeah, I mean, I like a couple of picks in this draft. I don't mind the Will McDonald. If that's their dude, I don't mind it. I love the Joe Tippmann pick. Carter Warren, it's a decent pick, I think. It could be for depth. I like the Israel Abanaconda pick. I can't tell you anything about the Zaire Barnes or the Jarek Bernard Converse one. And then I love the Zach Kuntz. For me, I think I give him a solid
Dude,
B.
that's where I was. And I think that we're going to be high. Dude, that's funny. I thought you were going to go lower. Yeah, I'm going to go solid B just because I personally love Will McDonald. I really like Joe Tippmann. Israel Abanaconda is a beast. And then Zach Kuntz. Like you nailed 4 of your picks, in my opinion. And if you go 4 for would they have 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you go 4 for 7, that's pretty freaking good. And you never know. Maybe Carter Warren or Zaire Barnes or Jarek Bernard Converse could prove us wrong. So I like it. I really do like it. I feel like we're going to be higher than the NFL for sure.
So also, you guys got to remember the Jets had a very deep team. That's why Aaron Rodgers went to them. He went to them for a reason, or he wanted to go to them for a reason. They have a deep team. They have a deep team on offense. They have a deep team on defense. So, I like the depth pieces, and I think they also added to that depth. So I like the draft. For grades, New York, NFL.com gives them a B.
Oh, wow.
A solid B, just like us. And then PFF gives them a B minus. So we are higher than PFF.
Oh, man. I could have swore people were going to be lower on that. But yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jake, let's get into the last one. And let's power through this because we're already at the hour mark. But we have a lot of draft picks to cover.
Well, we don't have to talk about at least 2 of them. I'll tell you that.
That's fine with me. So let's start it off. They got one of the biggest steals in this year's draft, in my opinion. Their first overall pick, they had Christian Gonzalez sliding to pick number 17. I thought he was going to go top 10 for sure. I thought he could have even gone top 5. Like that is have you seen his rookie minicamp? It is like watching someone on ice skates. He is so fluid. It just looks so natural to him. Like he's got the most just greased up hips you could ever imagine. Just like the fluidity is off the charts and his ball production skills are great. You can work a little bit on the tackling and the physicality side, but he's going to get production. He's going to get interceptions. I love this pick. I think this is one of the biggest steals in the draft.
I 100% agree with you. I think personally he should have gone top 12, top 10 even. He was my favorite cornerback in the draft. Real quick, I need to apologize. I don't know my alphabet, and we should have done New England before the Jets.
It's all good.
Also, if I could describe the New England Patriots draft in 2 words, it would be this: small school.
Mm-hmm.
Do they just get enjoyment out of trying to make these small school? I'm not saying they're not going to work. I mean, the Patriots have been good for years, right? I mean, they haven't been good since Tom Brady left. But
they always beat the Chargers, though. Always find a way.
Yeah, and they'll get another. They're playing the Chargers this year, right?
All right. Until they beat the Patriots, I always fear them. I don't care if the Patriots have 1 win under their belt; they'll fucking.
So yeah, small school. They drafted so many small school players, but I completely agree with you. Christian Gonzalez, he went to a defensive-minded coach where he's gonna make this guy elite. Honestly, Bill Belichick is just gonna. I will not be surprised if he lives up to the hype. I will not be surprised if he's the defensive player of the year in 5 years. Maybe that's a bold take, but Steele. Oh man, what is going on here? Sorry, my tabs are all messed up. All right, with that being said, the next pick after that, you got Keon White, a Georgia Tech defensive end. He looked very violent when I was watching him.
Here's the way I would describe him. He is a bull on PCP in a china shop. Like, he has no pass rushing moves. He is just gonna try and, dude, he looks like he should be in the longest yard and like the prison team, just like fucking people up. Like, that is his thing. If you want someone who's going to play with physicality and aggressiveness, this is your guy. You got to coach him up, though. He definitely just blows by people, kind of puts himself out of plays sometimes. But if you want to see someone die on the football field, this is your guy.
So I think they just added a lot of defense. They did add a lot of defensive players. Not a whole lot of weapons. But I like the first 2 picks. PFF graded the Christian Gonzalez.
It better be elite. Very good. Oh, they didn't give it elite. That's crazy.
Very good. I think it should have been.
I think it should have been elite also.
And they gave Keon White good as well. This next pick hits a little close to
It does.
your
I
heart.
actually went to school with this guy.
Yeah, I'll let you take this one away.
Marty Mapu, linebacker out of Sacramento State. So I think he was a redshirt senior because he was on the football team when I went to Sacramento State University, and he definitely thrived. You know, he definitely transitioned into a good linebacker. He is, so for an FCS school, he is very good. I don't know necessarily how he would have done in like Division One FBS. I think he could have been a good ball player, but you know, this is kind of like taking a shot on a player who has all the physical tools that you need. Like this is another violent player. Like Marty Mapu, he is a thumper. Like he will hit. He's decent size. I think he could add a little bit more mass to playing the linebacker position. He's under 220. He's only 217. So he definitely needs to increase some mass if he's going to play, but he's fast. He gets after the ball carrier. He gets after the quarterback, you know, and he's going to hit you. I think that it's a developmental piece to say the least, but I'm happy for him, you know. Dusac stay proud. Stingers up, baby.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of his highlight. You know, he's just gonna come. I would not be surprised if this dude just comes out of nowhere and people are, who is this guy? Like the Patriots are gonna coach him up to his full potential and they're gonna unlock everything they can out of this guy. So, you know, look out for his name. Their next pick. Jake Andrews, center out of Troy. Again, another small freaking school. Not much to say. I just think, you know, I like what they're doing. They're kind of giving Mac Jones or whoever their quarterback is going to be some protection. You know, I feel like they're just going to make that whole offensive line just small school. You know, they got the other dude out of Chattanooga, and they got this dude out of Troy. So, yeah.
I am not that high on this pick. If I'm not mistaken, he was at the Senior Bowl and he got driven backwards quite frequently. I could be thinking of someone else from Troy. I don't think I am. But, you know, it's a small school. You know, he is decent in polling and all that stuff, but the level of competition that he was going up against is not the best. So, you know, Bill Belichick loves to go after, like you said, these small name schools. So we'll see. It's a developmental piece, in my opinion. So not in love with it, but decent.
Yeah. So Marte Mapu was a good ranking for PFF, and Jake Andrews was below average. This next pick, not going to talk about. They selected Maryland kicker Chad Ryland. We don't do kickers and punters. I could give
one
a shit
of the other,
as long as they make it during the game.
One of the other NFL teams to draft a kicker this early.
Yep. And again, we have another smaller school. Not as small as the other two, but we got Patriots taking Eastern Michigan offensive guard Sidney Sao. I don't even know how to say that.
Sidney
I don't even
Sao.
remember if I watched tape. I don't even remember if I watched tape on this guy, to be honest. It's just when you have so many picks, it's like it just all blends in. Again, they're making this entire offensive line, or trying to make this entire offensive line out of small school players. At a point, it's like, is this dude just trying to be like
different?
I mean, I know he's a Hall of Fame coach, but like, do you think he's just like kind of arrogant into where he's like, well, I can find talent?
Yeah,
anyway.
I do think there is that level, but I will say for his size, his polling ability is pretty impressive, and he's physical, man. Like I really actually liked his tape. I mean, he's athletic too. He's inconsistent from what I've seen, but like when he looks good, he looks really good. But then again, you're going up against lower level of competition, but you know, he's quick, he's got good hand usage, and he's powerful. So we'll see how he transitions. He's another developmental piece, but I kind of like this one a little bit more than Jake Andrews.
All right. This next pick is my favorite offensive line pick out of the Patriots. Antonio Mafi out of UCLA. This is a violent dude. This is what you need out of a guard. He's very mean.
Yeah, he looks like
He'll put you on your
he
ass.
looks like he's got a screw loose in his head.
Yeah, I like that. I need that out of my offensive line. If you're nice, I don't want you on my team, to be honest. So he looks like he can be a freaking asshole on the field. Yeah, so I like this one. You know, he's coming from a bigger school, so I tend to have more hope. I don't know. We'll see. I've been wrong before.
Yeah, no, I like this one, especially for the depth. They're addressing the offensive line. They're going to have depth all over the place. And like you said, he's a physical guard. So I like this pick.
This next pick,
this one is so polarizing.
Like.
Can I talk about this one first?
Yeah. So real quick. I just want to give the PFF grades for the previous. Chad Ryland, they gave it a below average. City Sal, good. Okay. Antonio Mafi, average.
Okay. So Keishawn Butte, I'm like 95% sure he was a 5-star recruit out of high school. And I remember his freshman year at LSU, he looked like the next Jamar Chase. He really did. And then he fell off the face of this earth and just did not have the production that he did his freshman year. He tested like absolute shit at the combine. He had a 29-inch vertical. That is freaking pathetic. I'm pretty sure I can jump 29 inches. I don't know if
I think I can jump 29 inches.
I don't know if he just didn't try or what it was. He didn't even have a broad jump of 10 feet. He broad jumped 9 foot 10 inches. His athleticism score is just terrible. But you watch his tape and what he is capable of doing, and it can be elite what he can do on the field. Like, he can have games where he just takes over. That's why he's one of the most polarizing players in this year's draft. So I will say this. It is one of the riskier picks, but you got him in the 6th round. He could have possibly ended up being a 1st-round pick. Like, if you base it off of his freshman year, he would have been a 1st-round pick. He has potential, but he just fell off. So I don't know what happened. Maybe he just didn't give a shit. Maybe he was not even trying, and he knew he was getting drafted by the New England Patriots if he didn't try at the combine. So,
yeah, Patriots have not really had luck drafting wide receivers in the last couple of years. Right. So I'm not gonna, curse this guy or anything, but I don't think they know. I mean, obviously they know better than I do. But I don't think they can scout wide receivers the best. But like you said, they got this dude with the 187th pick. Like, potential steal, maybe, TBD. And I don't really love the wide receiver room still in New England. This guy, if he pans out, he could be the number 2, like automatically, like if he just balls out. So he could potentially be the number 1. I don't know. But, I think they needed more offensive weapons, just more competition. But they didn't really do it in this draft. But, so I personally do like this pick for the potential. I think
I like this pick because Belichick isn't a take shit kind of guy. Like, he's not going to fuck around with this kid. He's just going to be like, look, you either try or you're off this team. And so I think Keishawn Butte could go back to his peak performance. I don't know, man. It's hard to say.
What do you think PFF graded this grade?
I don't even know. Probably below average.
Elite.
They did give it elite. Oh my god! So they're kind of on the polarizing aspect that I'm talking about. Yeah, dude. Like, he has the potential. Like, he really does, man. It's crazy. Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I liked them from what I saw. So, but it's college and pros are a lot different. This next pick, we're not going to talk about.
They drafted a punter.
Yep, Michigan State punter Bryce Behringer. But this next pick, is my second favorite pick for the Patriots.
Dude, he is
Demario. Okay, real quick. Let me say his name. Demario Douglas out of Liberty with the 210th pick. Okay, am I wrong in saying he does not look like Kadarius Toney or Tyreek Hill? Am I
I
wrong?
would say he definitely looks a lot like Kadarius Toney. You know, he's got a similar build. He's very fast. He's elusive. He's twitchy. He's athletic, dude. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
almost broad jumped 11 foot 3 inches. He almost had a 40-inch vertical. Ran in the 4.4s. He's got the smaller frame, as did a lot of receivers in this draft. But you know, getting him at this point, like, take a chance on him. He's got a lot of upside. So I like the possibility and the ceiling for this player.
Yeah, and you know, they love to do that short kind of. I mean, they did last year. You know, wide receiver screens, slants. I think they're gonna have some fun with this guy. To be honest, he's my second favorite pick out of their entire draft. And then these last two, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Again, couldn't really find a whole lot of tape on them. I don't know if you did, Dane.
No, I did not find much, especially on Amir Speed. I like the name, having Speed in your last name.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's got good size. He's
Mm-hmm.
6'3". He's 209 pounds. So probably going to play in the box, you know, maybe corner. We'll see. But more likely than not, he's not going to start. He's just going to be a special teams player. And then last one, Jackson State University, we have Isaiah Bolden, you know, probably going to be a special team player, see if he even makes the roster. So I don't think that.
I will.
Go ahead.
I will say that pick is significant because that was the only player out of Jackson State drafted, which, if you guys don't know, is the team that Deion Sanders coached last year. So I think it's pretty cool. You know, someone like the Patriots gave a chance on him. Probably be a special teamer, like you said. Let's real quick. I'll do the PFF grades. Bryce Behringer, below average. Demario Douglas, average. Amir Speed, below average. And Isaiah Bolden, average. Me, I don't know why. Personally, I don't know why teams are they're so high on their draft. I like 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I like 5 out of their 14th freaking picks, and the rest I am just unsure of because of, you know, lack of what's the word? Lack of not credibility, lack of
experience.
Just like playing in smaller schools. You don't have that pedigree. Lack of pedigree. So for me, I'm personally going to give it a B-. I love the Christian Gonzalez. I love the Keon White. I love the Antonio Mafi. I think the Keyshawn Booty has a chance to, you know, be good. And then Demario Douglas, I think I really like personally. But the rest, to me, unknown. Smaller schools. And they drafted a kicker and a punter. Two. I mean, a kicker is one thing, but a punter, like. So for me, I'm giving them a B-.
I'm giving them a C. I really am. Like, if
C+ or just solid
C, man. Like, it's. I think that, like, it's so high if you look at, like, the good players that they got, but it's so low with, like, their reaches and, like, their, like, projections of certain players that it has to meet in the middle. So it's like, it's a solid C. Like, you hit on a lot of picks, and then there's some that, you know, maybe you're going to prove us wrong. But at this point in time, like, there's not enough tape out there to make me think that they hit on all these players. If any team can coach it up, you know, it's the New England Patriots. But like we've said, they haven't been doing too hot recently, ever since Brady left. So I think that they could have.
Also, sorry.
I was just going to say, so what was I going to say?
Well, what I was going to say, another reason why I'm not, like, super high on this draft, what did they really do to help out Mac Jones besides draft small school?
That's what I was going to say is, like, which players in this draft are going to immediately make this team significantly better other than Christian Gonzalez? I feel like that's the only player who's going to have, like, an immediate impact with production. Maybe Keon White,
but
maybe Demario Douglas.
The thing is, like, last year, the defense wasn't a problem. The defense was, you know,
Matthew Judon just had,
I want to say, like, top 15.
Yeah, Matthew Judon had, like, the second
Yeah.
highest sacks in all of NFL football last year, I think.
Yeah. The defense wasn't the problem. It was that lackluster offense. And I don't think
But it also
Bill O'Brien with the
it could have also just been Matt Patricia. Let's be honest.
yes.
Like,
Yes. But I've seen Bill O'Brien as a coach. I've seen him as a college coach. I've seen him on the Patriots before. And it's just like when you don't have that many weapons, I'm still not in love with this wide receiver room, like at all. Like I'm looking at this wide receiver room, and it's probably like the 32nd ranked wide receiver room in my, or 31st ranked. Like I don't have a lot of high hopes for them. I don't know. That's another reason why I want to give it. I'm lower than other people. I just think they needed more weapons. I don't know.
More immediate impact players. What did PFF and NFL grade their draft? Because I gave them a C, you gave them a B-.
So both PFF and NFL.com gave them an A-.
What? An A-?
Yes.
Oh
yes.
my God.
And again, Bill Belichick is probably the second best coach, if not the best coach in the NFL history. But I think again, it's like, is he being arrogant and trying to find, these smaller school guys, or is he just know something that we don't, and he can just see it how it is, and he's like, oh, this is the one. I wouldn't be surprised, but it's just, I don't know.
Well,
but
I am way lower on that draft than they are, but yeah, I am going to root for Marty Mapu. I hope he has a good career in the NFL. I hope he balls out, just not against the Chargers. I hope that he has lots of sacks and shows the physicality that he did at Sac State. So good for you, man. Guys, that's going to
quick.
Go for it.
Real quick before we end, rank their drafts.
Okay. So obviously I have the Patriots last.
Yeah. Same.
I'm going to have, I think I'm going to have the Bills first.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And then I'm probably going to have, I'm probably going to go Patriots, Dolphins, Jets, Bills.
Patriots, Dolphins, Jets, Bills. Yeah, I'd have to go the same way too. Which I think is maybe how the division ends this season.
Very well could.
Until proven otherwise. It
very well could. Well, guys, that is going to do it. We had a doozy of an episode, almost an hour and a half episode today. Thank you guys if you made it all the way through. Guys, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on our Instagram at Cannonballs with a Z_podcast. We'd appreciate any little bit of support we can get because we don't get much. And Jake and I, we actually do put in a decent amount of effort into this podcast. So, guys, we'd appreciate anything that you can do for us. Share us with your friends. That'd be great. Jake, you have anything to add before we close out?
No. Yeah, this was a doozy. I'm glad we don't have to do it again until we break them down before the season starts. Yeah. Thank you for listening. As always, peace.